What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Hope everybody's having a great day or night whenever you're watching this. It's the All-Star break, and I want to talk about a player that I think is very underrated at this point in his career, not getting a lot of love, and I think he's one of the brightest shining young stars in the entire NBA. I want to talk about Anthony Edwards, highlight his season a little bit, and honestly, I think at this point he's become underrated. Like, he's become slept on, in my opinion. I'm going to break down why. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and if you enjoy this kind of content, please like the video. But let's break down Ant's season, and I'm going to prove he's underrated. So on the year, he's averaging 25 points, 6 rebounds, 4.5 assists. Pretty good numbers across the board, up from a year ago by pretty much every major statistical category. Shooting 46% from the field, 36 from 3, 78 from the line, 57% true shooting percentage. Pretty decent numbers across the board efficiently. Defensively is where I think he's really taken a huge jump as an NBA player. 1.6 steals per game, 0.6 blocks for a guard. He's become one of the better two-way guards in the entire NBA, and that's on top of being just a complete bucket getter from all levels on the floor. So his defense being as good as it is like icing on the cake. He got 20 points in 72% of their games, so 20 plus points in 72% of the games, getting buckets each and every single night. One thing that I think is being very just not even talked about is the fact that he's played every single game this season. I don't know if there was another All-Star that played every single game this season. And he was an All-Star this year. Yes, he made it in as an alternate. I don't really care. He deserved to be in anyway. I like the personality in terms of he holds himself accountable for, even if he has a down week or two, like he's not afraid to talk about it to the media. He doesn't really throw teammates under the bus. Just all around, he seems like a really good teammate. Another thing that has really improved throughout his career, and especially this season, is his rebounding. Averaging like 6 rebounds a game, but he's had a lot of games with 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 rebounds for a guard that's, he's decent size, but he's not he's not 6'8", he's not 6'9", he's not one of the bigger guys in there, so he's going up with the trees and making his impact. I think being a really good rebounder at the guard position is so important for good teams. So if you have a guard that can do that, it just opens up the floor because, once the guard gets the rebound, the transition has started, and he's one of the fastest players in the league, one of the most electrifying players in the league. So you get that break going with him, and it's highlight time. Over his last 30 games, he's averaging like 27 points, 6 rebounds, 4.5 assists. So his points have gone up over the last 30 games. Kind of figured out his rhythm a little bit. And to be completely honest, I don't know if there's more than 10 guys that you would take over him for the next 5 to 10 years. In your head, put it in the comments. Who are the guys that you would take ahead of Anthony Edwards in the next 10 years? I don't think the list is very long. To get back to his defensive metrics and his stats, he's almost got more steals this year than he did all of last year. I think he had 105 all of last year, and I think he's at 100 right now. And there's still 20 games left. He's going to blow that out the water. Blocks, he's like right there as well, so he's going to blow that out the water. Just really holding himself accountable on that end of the court. You can really see that he matured from the last couple of years and is taking defense very, very seriously. And I love that because there's not a lot of guys that take defense seriously anymore. One thing that really irritates me with him, though, is the way he's officiated. He gets no calls. He deserves way more foul calls than he gets because he gets hacked a lot. He drives to the rim a lot. Does not get the calls. His free throw attempts per game is only like 5.5, but his drives per game is like top 10. To be completely accurate, he's top 11 in points per game off drives. Okay, so he's getting to the rim and scoring, and he's only getting 5.5 free throws per game. So the guys that are ahead of him in points off drives per game, let's see how many free throws those guys are averaging. Just to show you how aggressive he's being and it not correlating with his foul calls, because his points should honestly be probably somewhere around 28, 29 if he got a decent whistle. So one of the guys that has more points per game off drives than him, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 10.5 free throws per game. Shai's been awesome this year, but 10.5 free throws per game. John Morant, 8.5 free throws per game. Luka Doncic, 11.1 free throws per game. Zion Williamson, 8.6 free throws per game. Giannis, 13 free throws per game. Trae Young, 8.7 free throws per game. Damian Lillard, 9.1 free throws per game. DeMar DeRozan, 7.5 free throws per game. And then you got De'Aaron Fox at 6.1 free throws per game. And Jalen Brunson at 5.9 free throws per game. So even those guys, all of those guys average more free throws per game than him. And majority of them are by like 2, 3+ free throws per game. And they're scoring about the same amount of points off drives. Come on. Like, what are we doing here? Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me why he's only getting 5.5 attempts per game. Like, just doesn't get the whistle. It just doesn't make any sense. In the comments, if you watch more Timberwolves games than me, explain it, please, because I try to watch as many as I can, or at least portions as I can. And I see this dude go to the rim and get absolutely murdered in midair, and it's no foul, no call. I don't get it. If he should be averaging, in my opinion, about 7.5 to 8 free throws per game. Like I said, he's around that 28, 29, 30 points per game. If he gets officiated the same way a lot of other young stars do, and stars in general. Besides that little rant, I think another thing that's really showed me his importance to this Timberwolves franchise, he is the guy. He is the dude. That is who they have to build around. But he's kept this team afloat amidst locker room turmoil between D'Angelo Russell and Rudy Gobert and just other guys. A lot of injuries. Like I said, he hasn't missed a single game. So you've had a lot of games without Rudy Gobert. You've had a ton of the season without Cat. That's just two of their big names that they have. He's really kept this team afloat. They're like, I think, the 7th seed right now. And they were basically the 7th seed last year. And I think the team is overall probably less talented this year than it was last year. So I think that highlights his growth as a leader, as a franchise cornerstone player, that this team is right where it was last year with less. So come on. I think you got to give Ant some love. He's literally one of the most marketable stars in the entire NBA. Funny, holds himself accountable though. He makes sure, like, he had a quote that I'm going to paraphrase this here, but he said, I played in all the games this year, right? And he thinks one of the biggest reasons that the NBA's product isn't as good is because dudes are missing games when they could play. He said, if I'm at 80%, I'm playing. Like, we should be playing. Like, I don't know if there's a kid that's never been to a basketball game, came to see me. I don't want to let that kid down. Like, there's so many times where, we have kids that go to see their favorite player and the dude is not playing tonight because of rest or load management or knee injury management, knee risk management, whatever BS the team is telling you. The dude's just flat out resting. He could probably play. And it's just, I like that he pointed it out. Pointed out, like, this is BS, that a lot of dudes are just missing games just for the hell of it. So he gained a lot more respect from me. I already loved him as a player, but like, just the being aware of who he is as an NBA player and what it means to fans. I think that is so slept on, and I want to put a shining light on that because it deserves more love. Back to that question that I asked though, the 10 guys, who are the guys that you would take ahead of him? The 10 guys for the next 5 to 10 years that you'd rather have on your team. I'm curious if this list gets to 10 because I don't think it does. Off the top of my head, you probably got Giannis, Luka, which that's all fair. Funny, that's completely accurate. Fine. But after that, I don't know. I think the list is not too deep, and I think for that reason alone, underrated. Anyway, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and if you enjoy this kind of content, please like the video. But Anthony Edwards deserves more love. He's become under the radar. He's gone under the radar, and he's one of the best players in the entire NBA. Top 15 probably player in the entire NBA. And anyway, thank you for watching. I'm done here. Peace.